This is no made-up ghost story. The Whaley House really stands on the spot where men were hanged, including Yankee Jim, who was executed in 1852. A few years later, Thomas Whaley bought that ground, built a grand brick home, and moved his family in. But tragedy followed. His baby son died of illness inside the house. His daughter Violet later took her own life. Several other Whaleys passed away under its roof. Over time, countless visitors and guides have said they hear heavy footsteps, the clack of gavels, even the laughter of children, when no one is there. Some smell cigar smoke or perfume, for no reason. Others swear they've seen shadowy figures dressed in old clothes. These are not stories crafted for movies. This is real history, wrapped in mystery, and still alive in every creaking floorboard. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our real-life mystery stories. A long time ago, before the Whaley House was built, this land already had a dark history. In the early 1850s, men were hanged here. One of them was James Yankee Jim Robinson. Thomas Whaley, the man who would later build his house here, actually saw some of these hangings. In 1855, Whaley bought this corner lot. The price was low because people knew the land had a dark past. But Whaley did not care. He saw more than just land. He saw a chance to build a home, a store, and a place that could be the center of Old Town San Diego. On May 6, 1856, construction began. Whaley used bricks from his own kiln. He built a 2-story house with tall windows, a strong porch, and neat, clean lines. He wanted it to be beautiful and useful at the same time. He said it would be the handsomest, most comfortable, and convenient place in town. By 1857, the house was ready. Downstairs, Whaley ran a store. People came to buy food, tools, and other goods. Upstairs, a room became San Diego's first theater. Later, part of the house became a courtroom. The county used some rooms for juries and legal records. The Whaley family lived and worked here. They hosted guests. They ran their business. People said the walls were warm and unusual because of plaster made with ground seashells. Whaley spent over $10,000 building the house. The furniture was fine. There were mahogany tables, rosewood chairs, and soft carpets. But even with all this, something felt heavy. The land still held the memory of the hangings. Whaley knew this. The ground his children played on had once been the site of death. Even as he built, that history was under every brick. The house became the heart of Old Town. People came to trade. They came to watch plays. They came to speak, to argue, and to make deals. This corner felt alive. So, when you step into the Whaley House today, know this. You are not just walking into an old house. You are walking into a place full of dreams, loss, and history. Every brick has a story. And that story has never really left. Thomas Whaley was born in New York City in 1823. He came to California during the gold rush. Later, he traveled to San Diego. He married Anna Eloise Delaunay in 1853. By the end of that year, they returned to San Diego together. In 1855, Thomas bought the land in Old Town, where his house stands now. This was the same land where James Yankee Jim Robinson had been hanged years earlier. Thomas Whaley had actually seen that execution. On May 6, 1856, Whaley began building his house. He used bricks made in his own kiln. The house was Greek Revival style. It had tall windows, straight lines, and a strong porch. It cost more than $10,000 to build. At that time, this was a huge amount of money. By 1857, the house was finished. Downstairs, Whaley ran a store. People came to buy food, tools, and other goods. Upstairs, the family lived in several rooms. One room later became a small theater. Part of the house was also used as a courthouse. In 1869, the county rented some rooms. The second floor held juries and legal records. Life in the house was not always happy. Thomas and Anna had 6 children: Francis, Thomas Jr., Anna Amelia, George, Violet, and Corinne. Their little son, Thomas Jr., died when he was only 18 months old from scarlet fever. In 1858, a fire broke out in their store. It may have started because rats chewed on matches. The fire destroyed much of their goods. Years later, tragedy struck again. Their daughter Violet, when she was 22, took her own life inside the house. Her death shocked the people of San Diego at the time. As time went on, the Whaleys moved out. Thomas and Anna built a new home downtown. The old Whaley house was empty for a while. Later, Thomas's son Francis returned and started to repair the house. Other family members moved back in and lived there for years. The Whaley house became very important in San Diego. It was not just a home. It was a store, a small theater, and a courthouse. In 1932, it was officially recognized as a California historical landmark. Today, the Whaley House is a museum. It still holds the story of the Whaley family, their work, their hopes, and their losses. Every brick tells part of their story. Long before the Whaley family built their home, this land already had a dark past. One of the most famous events was the hanging of James Yankee Jim Robinson in 1852. He was a convicted thief, and his execution took place right on the land where the Whaley House would later stand. Thomas Whaley, who would later build the house, actually witnessed the execution. People in San Diego remembered it for years. The hanging left a mark on the land, and many believe that this history is part of why the house feels heavy and strange. When the Whaley family moved in, some people said they could feel a presence in the house. Even Thomas Whaley admitted that sometimes he heard footsteps in rooms that were empty. Some neighbors said they saw shadows move across the windows at night. Visitors today report similar experiences. Many believe that Yankee Jim's spirit never left the land. People have felt cold spots, heard unexplained noises, or sensed a presence that seems to watch them. While there is no way to prove it scientifically, the history is real. The land did witness death. And for some, that memory still lingers in the house. The Whaleys themselves tried to live normal lives, but the weight of the past was always there. The house was beautiful and strong, but it sat on a place where life had ended suddenly and violently. Some say that even now, when you walk inside, you can feel a connection to that long-ago event. The story of Yankee Jim is not just a legend. It is a real part of San Diego history, and it is a shadow that continues to shape the story of the Whaley House, even more than 100 years later. Even after the Whaley family moved into their new home, life was not easy. The house had already become part of their daily struggles and joys, but it was also a place where sadness and loss followed them. Their first tragedy came with the death of their young son, Thomas Jr. He was only 18 months old when he died from scarlet fever. Losing a child was devastating for Thomas and Anna Whaley. The family tried to continue their lives, but grief was always present in the house. Over the years, the family grew. They had 6 children: Francis, Thomas Jr., Anna Amelia, George, Violet, and Corinne. Each child brought happiness, but also responsibility and worry. The house was filled with the laughter of children, but also the weight of loss. Later, their daughter Violet faced a sad fate. When she was 22 years old, she took her own life inside the house. Her death shocked the Whaleys and the entire San Diego community. For the family, this was a tragedy that could not be forgotten. It left a mark on the house, and some believe that her spirit remains there. The Whaley House was also the site of small accidents and illnesses over the years. Fires, like the one in 1858, caused damage to the store and the building. Children fell, became sick, or cried in pain. These events were a part of life in a 19th century home, but combined with the history of the land, they added to the sense of heaviness that visitors sometimes feel even today. Despite these tragedies, the Whaleys continued to live, work, and raise their family in the house. They ran their store, hosted gatherings, and kept the home active. Yet the memories of loss stayed within the walls. Walking through the house today, visitors can sense the layers of family life, joy, and heartbreak. The Whaleys built a home filled with love and work, but it was also a place where life and death met, quietly shaping the story of every room and hallway. Over the years, the Whaley House has attracted thousands of visitors. Some come to see the history. Others come because of the stories about strange events inside the house. Many visitors report feeling cold spots in certain rooms, even when it is warm outside. Some say they hear footsteps on the wooden floors, even when no one is walking. Others hear whispers, like people talking in empty rooms. Some have reported seeing shadows moving along the walls or glimpses of figures dressed in old-fashioned clothing. People often describe the feeling of being watched, even when they are alone. Guides who give tours of the house also share their experiences. They say they sometimes hear voices or noises that cannot be explained. Some have smelled cigar smoke or perfume when no one is there. Others have felt sudden chills while standing in a quiet room. These accounts have been collected over decades. They come from tourists, historians, and paranormal investigators. While there is no scientific proof of ghosts, The reports are consistent. The house has a reputation that continues to attract people who are curious about its history and its mysteries. Visitors often say that the experience is both fascinating and unsettling. They can see the furniture, the floors, and the rooms exactly as the Whaleys left them. At the same time, they can feel the presence of the past, the family, the tragedies, and the events that occurred long before. The Whaley House is not just a museum. For many, it is a place where history and mystery meet. The stories told by visitors remind everyone that the house is more than bricks and wood. It is a place where the past can still be felt, and where the lives of those who lived there continue to echo. In recent decades, the Whaley House has drawn the attention of paranormal investigators. They come to study the unusual reports and to see if there is evidence of unexplained activity. Investigators use cameras, audio recorders, and other equipment to capture anything unusual. Some have reported hearing footsteps, voices, or doors creaking when no one is in the room. Others have recorded strange sounds, sometimes described as whispers or faint laughter. Visitors and investigators alike report seeing shadows or figures out of the corner of their eyes. Some have felt sudden chills or a presence near them, even in empty rooms. Many describe a feeling of tension or heaviness in certain parts of the house. It is important to note that none of this is proof of ghosts. Scientists cannot confirm the presence of spirits, but the patterns of experiences are consistent. Over decades, many people, from tourists to historians to investigators, report similar sensations and sights. The Whaley House also preserves its historical artifacts. Visitors can see the furniture, clothing, and personal items of the Whaley family. These objects are from the 19th century, yet they seem to make the house feel alive. Some say the combination of history, architecture, and tragedy may explain the feelings people experience. Whether one believes in ghosts or not, the Whaley House is a unique place. It is a real house, with real history and real tragedies. And for hundreds of years, it has held the attention and curiosity of everyone who steps inside. Today, the Whaley House stands as a museum in Old Town San Diego. Visitors from all over the world come to see it. They walk through the rooms where the Whaley family lived, worked, and experienced both joy and tragedy. The house is preserved almost as it was in the 19th century. The furniture, the floors, and the walls remain. The rooms that were once a store, a theater, and a courthouse are open for visitors to explore. Walking through them is like stepping back in time. Many people still report strange experiences. Some feel sudden chills. Others hear footsteps, voices, or creaking floors when no one is there. Some say they see shadows or glimpses of figures dressed in old clothes. The museum staff sometimes notice unusual events, too. The Whaley House is open for tours every day. Visitors can learn about the family, the history of San Diego, and the events that shaped this unique home. There are guided tours, historical exhibits, and stories about the people who live there. Despite the reports of strange occurrences, the house is safe to visit. It is cared for and maintained. The museum preserves the building so that people can experience its history for generations to come. The Whaley House is more than a museum. It is a link to the past. It is a place where history, tragedy, and mystery meet. Every brick, every room, and every hallway tells a story, and visitors today can still feel the echoes of the lives that were lived there. The Whaley House is a place full of history, tragedy, and mystery. People who visit often ask themselves a question: why does it feel so strange inside? Some say it is the history itself. The land witnessed hangings, deaths, and family tragedies. The walls have held joy, laughter, sadness, and loss. It is natural for people to feel the weight of those events. Others believe that the reports of shadows, footsteps, and cold spots may come from the imagination. Our minds are very powerful. When we know a place has a dark history, it can make us feel anxious or see things that may not be real. The truth is, no one knows for certain. Some experiences can be explained. Others cannot. But what is real is the history of the house and the Whaley family. That history is undeniable, and it is what gives the house its character and its reputation. Visitors leave with different feelings. Some are fascinated. Some feel uneasy. And some leave with stories they will tell for years. The Whaley House continues to inspire curiosity, wonder, and reflection about life, death, and the past. The Whaley House is not just a story. It is a real home, a real history, and a real part of San Diego. From the hangings that occurred on the land, to the lives and losses of the Whaley family, the house holds it all. Walking through its rooms today, you can see the furniture, the floors, and the walls exactly as they were. You can imagine the family living, working, and laughing. And if you listen closely, you may even feel the echoes of history that still linger. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the Whaley House. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and like this video. Share it with friends who love real-life mysteries and history. The Whaley House will continue to stand, a house full of life, loss, and the mysteries that remain to this day.